Creating conversations that start conversations. Arrow.net. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Merl Code.
Merl, how are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. This book comes out at the absolute most perfect time, not just because it's March Madness, but we need to understand the connection between the business world and those college players.
Yeah, and that's the real, that's part of the focus of the book, right? Is I want those who don't understand to have access into the relationship as it relates to the shoe companies and these universities.
And one of the things that you open our eyes to is the fact that, because, so many times people on this side of the pages are going, well, those college students need to make money, which I totally agree, but they don't need to get burned in the process.
Right. And so, again, there's a lot of bad business deals. And so, yeah, it's always, it's trying to create those guardrails, for those families who are inexperienced in the business of sport, and to understand what they're getting into and who they're getting involved with. And so that's why I said, man, I'm unapologetic about what I've done to try to help kids and their families along the way. The national media and the narrative has been, we're corrupt. Well, I don't know how you call somebody corrupt for trying to help somebody whose house burned down.
Right.
I don't know how you call somebody corrupt for trying to help a kid and his family pay the bills when dad lost his job and mom is on disability. I don't know how that's corrupt. What's corrupt to me is the system as a whole that takes advantage of these kids and makes millions of dollars, and then these kids are struggling to survive. That's corrupt.
Do you think there's going to be a change at the university level in the way that once they get into the universities, that we need to start training them as business people? Because I've been there with so many different players that said, I didn't know this. I suddenly I have $1 million in my pocket and I don't know what to do with it.
Right. And I think that's part of what needs to happen. A part of what athletes should have some exposure to is education. And I don't mean that from the collegiate level. I mean real life, real world experiences in terms of learning how to manage money, understanding taxes, and that they're going to be, taxed at a certain level or rate based on the income that they generate. Mm-hmm. Those lessons should happen earlier in life for them, because most of their parents, typically the black athletes' parents, don't have those experiences and don't know and can't teach them. Mm-hmm. And so we're in a position where we should be able to give those kids life lessons earlier to help them be better students and stewards of their monies, so that you don't have these crazy statistics like 80%, 86% of athletes are broke 5 years after they finish playing. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Mm-hmm.
The book we're talking about is Black Market, the insider's journey into the high stakes of college basketball. In reading the book, the two players that instantly come into my mind, Zion Williams and Trevor Lawrence, because they're so close to the Carolinas that it's like, oh my God, that neither one of them have had a brilliant, game yet in the way of, they've got to live up to the money that they're making from the sponsors.
Yeah. But people talk about living up to, and I hear you, and that's true. Trevor Lawrence is now a pro. So yeah. That's the expectations of being a pro in the first round pick certainly don't compare to the scrutiny he would face at the collegiate level if he wasn't performing and had those same sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
And so the problem is, again, these are young men and young women with real lives and real life situations. But you don't cap anybody else's scenarios. You don't cap the fantastic math student, who's on math scholarship.
So right about that. You are so
you don't
right.
You don't cap the English student. You don't even cap the volleyball players.
Yeah.
It's football and basketball players.
Yeah.
Like the rules are so different. And they keep hollering about education and this, that, and the third. And I say, yes, it's a farce. It's a farce because these schools will allow a kid that is barely academically eligible because of his athletic abilities. Your general student body has to have a 3.5 and a 1200 to get into this university. Well, if this boy can run a football, he has a 2.0 and a 701, he's getting in. Yep. Because he's going to change the face of your program. Mm-hmm. And then they stick him in general studies or basket weaving, and they stick him in these garbage majors, and they use him up. And when he's done, if he's not a pro, they throw him away and they go get the next one. And so it's this revolving door of bring a kid in, help us win games and make money, help us continue generating revenue, billions of dollars from television money, and these licensing and marketing agreements, because we have to win in order to maintain that. Mm-hmm.
But doesn't this also what your book is? Because somebody once told me that the only way you can change tomorrow is make sure that those that are living the life today have a voice today, so that tomorrow will change. If you know what I mean? Because this book absolutely is a voice. It is really going to open up a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Because again, I call this kind of the unicorn kind of concept, right? Because I am the only person that could tell this story.
Yep.
I'm the only person with these experiences. There's been nobody else to have played at the levels I've played at, to have worked inside of two of the top shoe brands in the world, to have had access to the high-profile Hall of Fame, all-star caliber talented players that I've touched, and then to go through the legal process and to go to prison for trying to help a family.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
And so if I can't talk about my experience, and truthfully, this has made me want to talk about it because it pissed me off. It pissed me off that you tried to turn me into the boogeyman when, again, all I was doing was my job.
Right. Right. Is there a website where people can go, because they're going to want to dig into this book, they're going to get the information that they want, but it can't stop there because they're going to get their own interpretation. They need to have leadership beyond the book. Do you provide a website or anything like that?
So what I'm doing now is we're actually in process of trying to create some additional dialogue, and that could be done in various forms. But the book is available on Amazon right now. And then I'll be utilizing Laura and Jessica and John Glenn, HarperCollins, and then Core Management to kind of create this opportunity going forward, because I will not be silenced about this. And again, the book is just a taste of my experiences. It's just too much information to fit into one book. So you can look forward to more projects and more of these opportunities to talk to guys like you, Errol.
Excellent, man. Come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
You be brilliant today, okay?
You too.
Yes, sir.